This is a big theme that's been really gaining momentum, I guess, over the last 4 or 5 years, the concept of reinvention. So if I go back to the 2023 PwC Annual Global CEO Survey, the responses, just over 40% of CEOs globally, was that they needed to change the way that their business operated within the next decade in order to have an ongoing business. Fast forward a couple of years to the same survey in 2025, and what that's progressed to is that over 45% of CEOs globally believe that they need to reinvent their organizations within the next decade in order to have a sustainable, relevant, contributing business or organization. Now, that's quite a substantial shift, because a change, is kind of doing the same thing, but maybe in slightly different ways, and we tweak it along the way. But reinvention is to do invention again, to design, to initiate, to innovate, all of those things again. So it's a much more comprehensive, a much more disruptive requirement, I guess, than to change. And we've seen a growth in the number of CEOs, or the proportion of CEOs that are saying this is critical if you want to have an ongoing, useful, valuable, impactful, relevant business. So how do we lead this? That is a really good question, and there's going to be so many ways. But I think one of the most important ones, in order to be able to reinvent, we've got to get out of the here and now 100% of the time and actually create space to be thinking future, to be having the big conversations, to be learning from others, to be expanding our own perspectives as leaders so that we can see possibility and opportunity around us. So rather than just kind of turning the wheel on what we have, which may be great and it might be working really, really well, but that doesn't guarantee you a future. Today's performance or yesterday's performance or success, because the world is changing so quickly around us, doesn't guarantee a future. And so we've always got to be looking to the horizon, to looking at what else, what next, what's different, and really creating opportunity and space for that much bigger thinking and exploring and innovating. And while we're caught in the here and now, or the very short term, or even the next couple of years kind of thinking, we're missing out on the opportunity to really create the future. So I would encourage all leaders, particularly very senior leaders, but all leaders, to be thinking about, where does your time go? Where are you making the most impact? Because leaders' responsibility is to lead into the future, not just now, but into the future. And so have you got time to do that? Have you created space, to have thinking time, to have great creative conversations, to learn from incredible peers or mentors or other industries or other countries? This is such an information age that the information's accessible, the people are accessible. So we've really got to exploit that so that we can channel it into our future thinking and our future proofing and our reinvention that is going to be, really critical to the survival of our organisations. So just make a note of how you're going to find some space for yourself and for your people and opportunity to do that. And the other thing I would say on that is, typically that great thinking or creativity doesn't happen inside an office in a regular routine. It's when you're doing other stuff, when you're out having new experiences, when you're meeting new people, when you're maybe just walking or traveling. All of those things really sponsor and foster that creativity.